Hey, audio lovers. Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com. We are in the middle of my Mixing with EQ series where I'm showing you my best tips, tricks, and techniques for how to harness the power of EQ so that you can get better sounding songs, because that's what it's all about. Today, I have one of my favorite tips on EQ, and that is using mix bus EQ. This one little technique will help you get a lot of impact on your song. Think about this. It'll help your song sound better, faster, and with only one plugin. It's incredible. It gives you a psychological boost as you start to feel the mix coming together very quickly at the beginning of the mix, which makes you feel awesome about yourself, which will make you mix better, because confident mixers are better mixers. So there's so much going on in this one little technique. I share it as often as I possibly can because it's the one thing I can tell you that will really, really help you. That's super easy and fun. And what is this? Well, the mix bus is your master fader. It's this final track here at the very end. It's the stereo track that all your audio goes through. And what I like to do is, after I've got a balance with the volume faders, meaning I've kind of got the faders where I want them and I've panned things where I want them, before I have any plugins anywhere, like all the original plugins here we've been using in the series so far, I've turned them all off. There's no effects. It's just the raw audio. Before I add anything to an individual track, I grab an EQ and I put it on my mix bus and I start to enhance the song there for two reasons. One, it allows you to enhance the mix quickly because a little boost or cut on the mix bus affects everything. It makes everything sound better or worse. So you can get a lot of bang for your buck that way, which allows you to get the mix coming together quicker with fewer plugins needed, which means you can free up CPU power. It means you're not taxing your computer as much. And I think it keeps your mix sounding more natural because you're not going to have to use as many plugins down here if you've got one plugin doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. So what I'm going to do is show you how I do this in real time. Here is the raw audio. Okay, so no plugins, just a balance. So let's grab a stock Pro Tools EQ here, the 7-band EQ, because it's a great sounding EQ and it's very easy to show you visually what's going on. And I'm going to press play here in part of the chorus, and I'm going to start moving on some EQ moves. So hang tight, just listen and watch what I'm doing for just a minute, and then I'll explain my EQ moves here. I'll do it in real time for you so you can get inside my head a little bit. Here we go. All right, cool. Let me walk you through what I just did there, and we'll see if it makes any sense to you. I ended up doing six EQ moves, which is a little high for me. Generally, it's between 3 and 5. Let me walk you through them real quick. I did a high pass filter, rolled off everything below 20 hertz, which is a lot of low stuff that honestly you're not going to hear or feel most of the time unless there's a lot of sub frequency stuff going on in your music. It's pretty easy to clean some of that up, clean up some headroom, or give us some headroom, excuse me. Then I did a little 1.3 dB boost at around 53 hertz. It's kind of where that oomph of the kick drum was, a little bit of weight down there. I did 2 cuts after that. I did a cut around 220 hertz. I took out 1.5 dB there. And then I also did a cut around 500, 520. Another 1.5 dB cut there. Those were sort of, the 220 felt kind of like real round and woofy and just soupy. And then the 500-ish range sounded really kind of honky. And it took a little bit out there. Kind of cleaned up the mix a bit. And then I did 2 boosts at the top end, a 1 dB boost at 3.3K, which could be real dangerous because it can be a harsh area, but it kind of brought out the vocals a little bit. And then a 1 dB shelf boost at 6.5K, just to lift the top end a little bit. And then I took the whole output down by 0.5 dB here. If you remember the level matching video, very important not to make your mix louder with this plugin because you'll think it sounds better no matter what it's doing if it's louder. So I'm just trying to make sure that the output is about the same as it was going into the plugin so then I can make a fair comparison. So that is what I did, and let's just now do it in bypass on and so that's what I did. Let's now do a comparison. I'll press play and I'll turn the EQ off, on, and see what it's doing to the mix. Okay, this is nice. This is nice and a great example for 2 reasons. One, if you're listening on good speakers or on headphones and you're listening on the HD version of this, you should be able to hear a subtle but nice difference. And the difference is a lot of the low-mid buildup in the guitars are real soupy on this song. And I should know I recorded them just real thick. And that sounds fun on recording day, but in the mix, you're like, okay, a little too much. These cuts here cleaned up some of that. So when I turn this EQ on, I kind of hear the guitars clean up a little bit. They're a little less thick, which is good. But I also hear the vocals come out a little bit more in the mix. They just poke out a little bit, okay? And then I hear a little bit more of the shimmer of the cymbals. And then just a little bit more definition on the kick drum. It just thumps a little bit better down there. This is not drastic, and this is not like all you need to do to a mix, but what I've done is subtly enhance the mix where it is better with the EQ in. And that's the beautiful thing is I've made it substantially better, I think, yet it's subtle and I'm not doing anything drastic to the audio. Okay, so this is the process I like to work through. Do your balance at the beginning of a song, meaning grab the faders. That's the most powerful thing you can do before any plugins is get the volume balance correct. And then, you can be able to do automation later, but get a rough static balance of the faders, pan things where you want until you can hear everything and say, okay, now I hear everything. Then grab an EQ, put it on your master fader or your mix bus, press play on the loop on the biggest part of the song, on the chorus, and start doing 0.5 dB to 1.5 dB as a rule of thumb, chunks of boosts or cuts to enhance what you want to enhance. Do you want more low end? Do you want more top end? Is there something really woofy sounding in the low mids? Do you not hear enough of the vocals? Do they not cut through enough? That's what's going through my head, and that's where I start to move around and sweep around till I get a little bit of an improvement, level match the output, and then back and forth bypass to make sure it's helping. And that's how you know you're going to be able to enhance the mix or not at the beginning so that the mix is already sounding closer to what you want it to sound like. A final tip here is pull in a reference track at this stage, at the very beginning of your mix. Pull in a professional mix of something that you love, that you know sounds great in a very similar genre to your song, and flip back and forth between your mix and that mix and see if you can't get your mix sounding closer to that mix with just the EQ plugin on the master fader. Compare the top end, compare the low end, compare the vocal level and the brightness of the vocal, the kick drum level, the snare drum level. See if you can't enhance those things with the EQ. That will give you something to shoot for and get you a lot closer at the beginning. Now, to help you out with your EQ moves while you're mixing, even if you're a beginner or even if you've been doing this for a while, I have put together an EQ checklist for you. I'm going to put the link right here in the video. Go to eqchecklist.com and download my free 7-step EQ process. And this walks through a lot of what I've been teaching you in this Mixing with EQ series in a simple to download. You can print it up PDF so you can have it, this little checklist cheat sheet right in front of you while you mix. So you won't have to go back and watch these videos or remember what I was doing in the mix bus EQ video or the subtractive EQ video or even the level matching. What was he talking about with that? All of that information is right there for you in an easy to read, easy to download, easy to digest, and call to mind checklist. It's absolutely free. It's a no-brainer. Just go to eqchecklist.com. I'll put the link below the video as well and here in the video. Get it, print it up, have it on your desk. I literally have it on my desk so I can reference even what I've been teaching you because I forget all this stuff and I need the constant reminder. So I figured it'd be easy for you, have it all in one place. So download the checklist, subscribe to the videos if you like them, and stay tuned for our 7th and final EQ video coming your way soon.